What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sick Flicks with Dylan and Skip. This is your host, Skip Marazi, and friend for the duration of this podcast, and in hopefully in socials. Here with Dylan Farr, who is a good friend of mine, a stand-up comic
Hello,
in the
I
Michigan area.
am Dylan Farr, your autistic spitfire. I'm a Michigan stand-up comedian. You can find me on all socials at Autistic Spitfire Comedy, except for Facebook, where you can find me under my government name,
Which is
Dylan Patrick Farr.
Dylan Patrick Farr. And we are doing a behind the scenes podcast, a very special one, actually, I think, for a number of reasons. But this is where we work on the animation for Cox in Space. And you can find out more information about Cox in Space on coxinspace.com. That's coxinspace.com. That will let you figure out where we are in the animation, how much of the illustration we have done, how much music we've worked on, and let you see some behind the scenes stuff like what we're about to watch right now. It hasn't dropped yet, but it will. It's supposed to go viral in a couple of days, in about a week or so. But Dylan, are you excited to see the final cut for Cox in Space as we have it so
Yes,
far? Because we have it. Now,
I'm actually very excited.
are you? I'm super excited for you to see this. Hopefully, you'll be able to see and hear all the sound and everything. If you can't, I'll send it over and you'll be able to look at it that way. But one of the things that I'm excited about as I'm pulling it up is that, or I should clear up rather, is that we today are going to be reviewing From a Whisper to a Scream, 1987, Vincent Price movie.
Yes,
Which
sir.
is 5.7 on the imdb and 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if that's the general score or the reviewer score. I can look into that. But yeah, so we're going to be doing that, and it'll be a little out of order for
I'm
people who are
gonna
listening
say,
because we have to do Death to Smoochie because I messed up the recording in some way, or my computer did rather, but I'll take the blame. You need to say what, bud?
I have to say about From a Whisper to a Scream.
Mhm.
Um, it was actually really funny. Do you see why it made me unsettled after each storyline in this movie? Do
I
you see why I was unsettled?
Um, yeah, well, okay, yeah, let's go there because of course this is the review. People want to hear the review. This is the thing that I felt like it wanted to be, and the thing that I wish it would have been. And I think that again, this is hitting on the question of, do you know why you're unsettled? So I wanted to have an Oldenfield TV show. Um, Oldenfield's the name of the place, right?
Oldfield,
Oldfield. Yeah, right.
Oldfield.
Yeah, I want to have an Oldfield TV show. There's kind of like the same idea where every episode it's kind of like American Horror Story, and because American Horror Story is an anthology style show too, where and I could
Oh yeah,
and
like
and to hit your question of unsettled, because it's this idea that the town itself is evil and people who get into the town become evil themselves, right, and get taken over with this evil.
yeah, but
Uh,
it's, it's one of those things. It was a movie that caught me off guard the first time I saw it. It just sent everything into overdrive of, oh, what happens, after this?
Yeah, 100%.
It
Because
was one of those.
it's definitely so. There's a thing I love in storytelling. John Steinbeck does this. I'm sure there's a number of other authors who do it, and I believe is a truism in the heart of a good story. Is that any good story feels like it picks up in the middle of the characters' lives, like they have a lot of history and background, and they thought a lot about stuff. They don't just exist for the story. And then at the end of the story, like you're saying, it continues on further, and it makes you think about all the possibilities that could exist after that. And so, yeah, I would agree. I would agree that From a Whisper to a Scream has that element to it, where it definitely leaves you in all of this collection of stories as like a what if? And that's what I was saying about the TV show. That's kind of what my thought was about it. Is I want more. Like what else? What
Is
else
it?
could this be? It's creepy,
Yeah.
and what else could it be? Um, so. Yeah, right. That's fantastic. Obviously, it's late era of Vincent Price because it's done in the '80s. I mean, the man is
Yes,
aged,
sir.
and
It's
it is such an honor for him to lend his personage, to this film. Even though you can see it's shot one scene, all he did was one scene. It's well acted and well scripted. It's also
Yeah.
done sitting down because you can tell that the man is definitely like he's done a share of movies. He's older now and he can still deliver his lines.
Well,
But like,
even when he's moving around,
mm,
he's got that presence of just, he's seen some shit
yeah, yeah.
type of presence, and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to horror
Yeah, well, so let's
and
unpack
the
the premise a little
horror
bit. So
of this town.
we don't leave the audience in the dark because that's really what the heart of this movie is. So Vincent Price is telling the story to this woman who finds her way into this library and a series of stories about how the town is evil, and he has proof because he has the diaries and he has the personal stories, and it's all over. It tracks all over. I think there's four stories that he goes through, and then he is the frame story, the fifth story, where the evil
Yeah,
unfolds in his own life.
uh, there's Stanley, then there's On the Run, Lovecraft's Traveling Amusements,
Hmm.
and Four Soldiers. Those are the
Okay,
four stories
four
that
stories,
are in this.
and then I'll point out again. The hidden fifth story is the twist, is his story and how he's affected. Because that's kind of what frames the story too, is because it starts with a dream, this bizarre
Yep.
dream, and then you cut to that you find out that it's the dream of a woman who's on death row. And not only is she on death row, but she's in the electric chair, right, or getting a lethal injection, one of the two. Like
Yep.
she's being
Yep.
executed. From this world. And and we find that's connected to Vincent Price. That person that's his daughter, and he claims that evil has corrupted her
His
from the town.
niece.
I'm sorry, his niece. Yeah, and that's what brings the woman to his study or to the library is because she's asking questions about the niece in the town. So again, the hidden fifth
Yep.
story.
The niece is played by Martine Beswick. Um, Best known for movies like Thunderball, From Russia with Love, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde,
Huh?
and The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood.
Huh?
That just sounds amazing. The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood. That's something I have to see now.
Okay, so I thought you were saying that you'd seen all of those. That's really fantastic. I love that's the thing. I wanted to mention first off that one of the things I loved about I think I messaged you when I was watching it was that I love the era of this movie. The soundtrack, which is very like 80s. It's definitely done like on a synth keyboard. And then the way the camera work is done, like the kind of the muted colors, where it's like late 70s coming out, into the 80s. And it sounds like this actress also she was doing work at that time too. Because I feel like the way
He
that
was in Devil Dog, The Hound of Hell. That was like a movie that my apparently I was obsessed with that movie as a little kid.
I've seen
Devil
it
Dog, Hound of
before.
Hell.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I cannot remember a
The
goddamn thing
dog with the
from it.
red eyes and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like that
And it's
was
like definitely mocap or something. You know what I mean? Like somebody went. I think it's like they went over the celluloid itself and colored in each cell red. Is what the feeling is. I'm not sure if that's exactly what happened, but if I'm remembering the correct movie correctly.
He
Yeah.
was in the Billy Joel music video of We Didn't Start the Fire. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Excuse me. Um, yeah. So I mean, and she is presented as somebody that we should know. Um, yeah, that's fair and fun. Um,
Well, she kicks off the storyline like just perfectly, and like, sorry, I'm having a bit of a brain fart of
okay.
what to say. Basically, it ends with her execution, and it go. We cut to this lady going to, I think it's like a house on like a ridge
Yeah,
or
I
something.
wanted to
It's like
call
a
that out
lighthouse.
actually. The way that it's shot is really, really cool. She's looking for this person called Mr. White, and there's this opening shot when first see her pulling up to the house, that we know that there's something wrong with her, which is foreshadowing, because like you could tell when the music was playing the way that it was. Um, One of the things too, before we scoot away from it, is that they really make us watch the execution happen, which I thought was wild. Because you wouldn't really see that except for in like extreme gore movies now. But they watched this woman scream her way to
Yeah.
death until she finally dies, and that's the opening pitch of the movie. So there's that,
Oh yeah.
and then it cuts to the woman pulling up to this house, and it's so genre specific, like it's so like introducing a horror movie in the '80s. That I just love it. And without,
Yeah, really.
if we could get away with it without breaking copyright, I'd cut it in right here so you can see it. But it's like the first where they introduce her, and then they see her getting out of the car. And what I'm talking about here is where they say that she's a big deal, because you don't get to see her face for a while. You see the car pull up, you see the foot step out, and then you see her walk up to the house, and then when finally she's in the house, we see her face. So they're like, "Ooh, who's
Yeah.
this mysterious woman?"
Like, and she just walks in, doesn't?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly,
Well,
she just walks
she
in
does, and then
because the door was unlocked.
well, yeah, exactly. And he explains that. He says the library's closed. So he's actually in a public space in Oldfield, right? But that's where he hangs out all the time, apparently. And she knows it, as we find out later. No spoilers. But she does find him, and then he begins to explain how the town's cursed, and that what his niece did was only because it's what the town makes people do. Um, there's one
I
line.
actually, I love that. I love the how he just tries to freak her out, and she's so nonchalant about everything. It's actually kind of creepy.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to care, and he keeps escalating. You're right. He is trying to freak her out. One of the lines he says, she's like, "Is this a diary?" He's like, "No, it's a journal." Like,
My goodness.
the
think
journal of a bland man, Stanley, and his bland face, and all the secrets it's going. And actually,
he
I
talks
feel
about
like
the eyes,
yeah.
the stories hidden behind the
So it's
eyes.
hidden behind the eyes. I think they really blew their load with story number one, because in no way or fashion does any other story, and no spoilers because we get into it, but like, does no way does that the horror of story one does not, like, no story after that is greater in horror than that one. I think they should have ended with it
I
because it's a
think
powerful
my
punch.
I think my favorite one that really freaked me out was the second one, On the Run.
Um, and that's that's kind of a mind fuck. I'll give you that one. That one's kind of like a Twilight story, Twilight Zone episode where you're like, oh my fucking god, I forgot they twisted that one because you have to get through it in the other ones. Um,
The
yeah,
Lovecrafts
the
the
love
Lovecrafts traveling amusements. Oh my
that
gosh.
that one kind of
Just
had.
that hotel room scene was fucking horrific.
Yeah, that's. I'll give you that too. We'll get into that as well. Um, I wish that they would have led with the Civil War story, because I do feel like it is one of the weakest. It's kind of mildly interesting, but it's not a great place to end. Um,
Well, would you like to do this review a little differently?
yeah, let me do. Can I propose the
Do
way
you
that we
want to?
should have done the movie and we review it that way?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Let me
The way
see.
you think, because we have four soldiers, Lovecraft's traveling amusements, On the Run, and Stanley. And I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
actually, I would do it exactly in reverse order. That would be my vote. That we review 4, 3, 2, 1. Because I think that's they put the most powerful story first in order to hook you, and that's disappointing. But obviously with film, they wanted to hook you, or you wouldn't watch the rest of the movie. So,
yeah.
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
But we get all right.
We could
We're
also
gonna go in reverse.
flip if you want to do your favorite last, because to me those two are fairly equal to each other in being horrifying. Um,
The one I think On the Run is the most horrifying
okay.
because Stanley yeah, he gets his comeuppance in the end.
Right, right, right. Yeah, he kind of deserves
But
it,
On the
but you're right.
Run
Yeah, like
is like 70 years like that. Jesus Christ.
yeah, you're right. That is the most horrifying one. And I think I understand. I think that this is interesting. We might get into this more when we get into it, but here's like a vague, like armchair, like psychologist thought is I think that we find both of those two significantly horrifying because the conditions of the heroes at the end is one of the things that we specifically fear, right? Um,
Yep.
yeah, so I'm not going to give spoilers about what
Well,
those endings are,
everything
but when we
that
get
guy,
there, I'll try to recomment on that.
the guy in On the Run got what he deserved. I mean, from the way
100%,
he was acting, he got what
100%.
he deserved. But
Well,
it's
but
still a horrifying fate.
so does Stanley. Yeah, right, but still a horrifying fate. Yeah. Before we do that, though, let me show you the Cox in Space final cut. Never before seen here, except for by people who are, wigbags producers, and now you and the audience who tunes into this episode. Would you like to see it?
Yes, I would.
All right, so I'm sharing that screen right now. I'm going to check for audio right now just to see if you can watch it while I'm watching it. Tab over. Can you hear that?
Yes, I can. Not suitable for children or the
It's
workplace.
not.
Oh, 6969.
The auto needs to be fixed.
I love that of realization and the eldritch arms and legs. It's very Hanna-Barbera-esque. Major and minor. Cox in space.
There
I
you go.
like it.
Fun, right?
Very
Uh,
fun.
yeah, so we are actually, I mean, I don't know if a camera creates too much lag for you, but I'm taking a little break on doing the animation because we've succeeded. We're taking a look at the finer details on that, and we're going to be spreading it out, going viral with it. Um,
All right.
yeah, by next week. So, yeah, if you want to be on camera, this is your review. You're the lead camera guy today because I still have not set it up.
Let me see if I don't know if it'll work or not,
So for
but
you, we can do an all audio as we have done. Thank you, friends, for listening to us. There we go. And we will get back to the animation
hello.
in the next ones. Here's Dylan Farther. If you haven't seen Dylan very much, um, we're glad to have Dylan as a host on this show, as a co-host to Sick
Happy to
Flicks.
be here.
Yeah. Um,
I'm very happy to be here. You've let me pick a bunch of movies that I think are great, even though some of them might not be the best written.
Homie, we both hyperfixate on the same things. We love film, and so for me, any film is good film because it's not just when something works; it's when something breaks too that shows you all sorts of things. And at the end of the day, this is my take. is that if you have made a film, if you have completed a film, I have mad respect for you, because whether it's good or bad or amazing or terrible, like, you
You
did
went
it.
through the work
You
of making it
fucking
a
did
thing.
it. You know what I mean? And so now you have the harder task of making something that's being judged by people. And so that's why a lot of people don't complete things, is because they're afraid they're going to get judged. But if you've made a film, bravo. And then you can work out the pieces later. The thing is, with making a film, is you don't get to make one film. You have to continue to make films in order to continue to get better at them. So that's just, some people have the ability to keep doing that, and that's why they've gotten good at it. And they've had good mentors, and they have,
Oh, look at
good.
Spielberg.
That's
He's
exactly what I was thinking of.
amazing with
Interesting.
his film.
But have you seen some early Spielberg works, or like George Lucas too? I was just thinking of TH6, like 1986 or 1870, whatever it's called. The numbers at the end. But it's not a great movie. But he had the ability to fail making that movie, and then he got to make some good movies. And same with Spielberg.
Oh yeah.
Like, Spielberg has made some, like, movies that they're not fantastic, but he has the ability to fail and continue to make movies. So, and
Well, it's because they put a lot of trust that, he made this successful movie. Okay, let's see if he can do this one. Okay, that one didn't turn out right. Let's give him another shot. Okay, that one was a success. It's having faith in the director's
yeah,
ability to do their jobs.
and that's what I started that thought was with people who do make films, or make anything really, is that people get so caught up on whether or not it's going to be good. And my thing is, complete it first, right? Once you complete a thing, you can
Right.
know whether or not it's good, and then trust the process in the meantime, get the thing done, and then decide whether or not you want to do more, and what you will do next time. I do that with my cooking all the time. I do that with anything I write. I do that with any project I'm working on. Like I just did this Cox in Space. It's been a
Yep.
constant experience of improvement. You know what I mean? So all the way up to the last cut, I was like making sure the things were tweaked, added, corrected, so that they look right, they feel right. So again, props to me, props to everyone who completes things. Like, just get it done. And that's with this movie. I will comment too, because I think it's only fair, that I don't like anthology movies. There's two types of movies I really do not like. It's movies about writers, and it's anthology movies. The first one, I don't like writers, because I think it's lazy. Like, it's literally like, write what you know, and the guy's like, I am a writer, so I'll write about being a writer. And that just annoys the fuck out of me. It's like, just have an imagination, for Christ's sakes. And the second one is the anthology movies, because each one, like with each one of these stories, I want to know the entire story as to how, who, and why. That I think anthologies always rob you of that. Like, they will give you, and it feels like any anthology I've seen, and this is no exception, is that they had a bunch of really fun ideas, but they didn't know how to lead into them, and they didn't know what to do with them, so they put them together and they called it Oldfield, right?
Right.
Which, I think is a cool idea. And like I said, what I wanted from it was, I wanted to see, say, instead of the 20 minutes or half an hour we get, I want to see like a full, like, hour of each episode, what that would mean, and see like
That would be really
a whole series of
interesting.
that. Yeah, like, if I was gonna pitch this, like, if someone's like, "Hey, Skip, what horror show do you want to do?" I'd be like, "I want to do Oldfield as a TV series. I could write you the whole, like, first season, 12 episodes of Oldfield."
That's something we should try to like
Well,
pitch to
well,
Hollywood.
yeah, this is my pitch right now. Like, when people are listening to this and they're like, "I wonder if Skip could do something cool like that." Like, I'm making the pitch right now. Yeah, I'd do Oldfield. You and I will get together and we'll write Whisper to a Scream, but as, like a TV series, and we'll make it real fucking creepy and, like, mind twisty and stuff like that. How the town keeps corrupting people. It'll be real fucking easy. We'll have fun. We'll use the story calculator to do it. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want from it, and that's why I feel like anthologies rob it. That being said, everything I've said previous to this on the podcast is absolutely true. I love everything about it. I love the aesthetic. I love Vincent Price. I love the music. I love the stories, actually, even though I want more from them. That's my only problem with it, is
Yeah,
they do such a good job fucking with your head that I want more. and I feel blue
I
balls
think
by
that
this
was
movie
kind of
four
the. I
times,
think
five
that
times.
was kind of the point of this movie was
Do you
to
think
show you
they were pitching it as a
they
show?
were purposely fucking with your head. Is what the point was. They were purposely fucking with your head to try to turn you into a resident of Oldfield. That's what they were trying to do, is fuck with
That's
your head so
interesting.
you turned into a resident of the town that is in this film.
You think
They
that the
were
movie
trying
is
to
trying to make us
drive you
evil?
crazy.
Well,
It was
they did a good
trying to
job.
put you
I
in the.
sure am mad about it. I feel like I could. No, I'm just kidding. We're recording. I would never assault a person, even in jest.
Oh, I know it. It's one of those things. I think they were trying to give you the mindset, like they were trying to get that mindset of, this is how evil this place is, and like they give you so much of a taste of each type of evil that
um,
it's meant to make you go a little mad.
yeah. How many deadly? Are there seven deadly sins?
Yes,
Okay,
there's
so
seven deadly sins.
my pitch would be that if we did a show, because you just made a great point. It shows just how like evil could be, people would be. That we would do a show that was based around like it would be Oldfield, but each episode would be one of the seven deadly sins up to the seventh episode, which would be like a spin, and then we would just do all of them. So it's seven in and then seven out. Um, and
Well, each
there's a
one
complete
of
pitch.
these really does deadly sins. I mean, think about it. The seven deadly sins are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth.
Interesting, and you are right. They definitely get a hit on it. I hadn't noticed that before, because you could say that Vincent Price's story is a sloth story, right? Because he's lazily just collecting everyone's information but not doing anything about it. Um,
Yeah,
what? So, um,
like he even said, the old librarian and his mistress were buried under the floorboards
right,
of
right,
the library, and he said
and
at
still
night
there.
he can still sometimes hear the lovers screaming because
Yeah.
the mistress's husband found out she was screwing around with the librarian and came and killed them both.
Again, something he hasn't done anything about. Yeah, so sloth. Okay, so what wrath, anger is the Civil War story because the
Well,
kids are holding on to their anger for what happened during the war.
yeah, that would be wrath.
Okay, and then we have uh, envy being the. What do you think?
Stanley.
Oh, because he wants what he
Stanley.
can't have. Yeah, coveting, envy. Yeah, fair. Um, and then greed, of
Envy,
course, because the story starts with,
envy, greed, lust.
oh,
Lust is
lust.
covered in
Yeah, that's the
Stanley and the Lovecraft's
the
traveling
Lovecraft. Well, of
amusements.
course, if it's even in the title. So they're doing a play on Lovecraft, and then the fact that it's love, lust, and how that those are tied together. Really, really good observation, Dylan. That one snuck right by me. As far as what they're doing. So yeah, if we did a show, we also need to do the same thematic thing that they were doing, which is to follow the seven deadly sins. Um, and this might sound like it's just it'll be cliche pretty quick, but I have a story calculator that makes things interesting. And Dylan is a very intriguing person and has some fun ideas. So that show would work really well. So we are pitching it right now if you hear it. So get in touch with us through guysInSpace.com. And through Dylan Farr, through all his socials, if you want to talk to him separately about it. Although, Dylan, I'm sure
Yes,
you want
sir.
to tackle that project with me, so reach out because
Yes, I do.
we can definitely do that project. So, uh,
But
cool.
let's go
Let's do
over.
it.
Let's jump into these stories.
And again, we're gonna do it
We're
in
gonna
reverse.
we're gonna do it in the reverse order of how they came out
Yeah,
in the movie,
which also,
because
please continue. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. We got a
in
little bit of
the
delay.
in the fourth segment, we have a story called Four Soldiers, and
And
it's set during the American Civil War,
there you
and
go.
it's a bunch of Union soldiers.
That's the thing that I wanted to
Basically,
point out is that this is sequentially he should be telling this story first because it makes more
yeah,
sense narratively to go back as far as we could go to get the roots of it. That's why it's super weird, I believe, that we end up here. And again, I think this is an editorial choice. I think that they probably had it the way that we're about to go through the editing, and the producers were like, it's too boring. Don't sync the lead or something like that, and so they went and did that instead. But yeah, so this one is really it's an interesting one to me because it's about the soldiers of the Civil War finding out after they've murdered some people that the war is over.
yeah.
There's,
They murdered soldiers of the Confederacy because they were like, oh, there's more Confederates. And the Confederates were waving a white flag at that point because they had gotten news that the war was over.
right, which is
And
odd.
these Union soldiers hadn't
Of
yet.
course, this would make sense in the context of German and English. It's weird that it's happening between the North and the South, who both speak the same language, that they somehow don't convey this idea. But so it does. So it happens. And then the guy says, callously, he's like, "Well, the spoils of war, people always have to pay a cost for that, or whatever." Um,
Yeah.
and this is the guy who's leading the squad. There's a kid who marches off at that point because he's like, "Hey, I'm not going to be a part
Yep.
of this bullshit because the
This
war's
would be
over now."
Pike. This
Um,
would be Pike, played by C.J. Cox.
nice.
C.J. Let me see. Where's his name? C.J. Cox. Also known for things like for Sweet Home Alabama. He was a writer. He became a writer after being an actor.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He was an actor in 3 movies. He was
Wait,
an actor
when
in
you
From a Whisper to a Scream,
okay.
Nightmare Sisters, and All the World's a Cage, which is the TV series. But he became a writer in '98 and has been writing all the way to 2025.
So when you say Sweet Home Alabama, you're talking about the Reese Witherspoon film.
Yes, sir.
Really? He wrote that? Or is he one of the
He was
writers
a
on it?
writer.
He was a writer
I
on it. So
think
did he get
he
into the
was.
Hollywood system and start being like one of the I don't know, like what they call them? Oh God, I knew the word, but once I started moving around, I forgot the word. They do like the flavor, or they do rewrites and stuff like that. Is that the type of writing he's doing? Like, are you seeing a lot of
Uh,
IMDb credits where it's like him and a lot of other people? Polish writers, I think is what they're called. Um, or you can go back and recognize where it really came from is because it's when they were hiring people from Poland, and so they were just referring to them as the Polish writers. And then they decided to get all politically correct, and they said, there's another word that we could use, and so they just started pronouncing it differently. Laugh out loud. That was a joke, a sleeper joke. Dry sense of humor
Sorry.
with no actual
I was looking
inflection.
up.
Because I did ask the question before that. Yeah, I was just
Let me
kind of
see.
filling some space to see how that was going. Um, now but the dude, see, not to
He was
lose.
given a job rewriting
There you go.
his
Okay.
own screenplay, Sweet Home Alabama,
It
became a
is.
box office hit when the film starring. So it is
Good for
his.
him. Okay, that's cool, man. So he appears in this movie, and then also was working his ass off to get his films get made too, because you have to if you're gonna get your films made.
His next film, Latter Days, which he wrote, produced, and directed, won him several audience awards at film festivals. The title Latter Days refers to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
That's what I was gonna ask. Okay.
His, his familiarity with the subject came from his upbringing as a fifth-generation Mormon. Okay, he wears magic underwear.
Holy shit, or did at one point. Uh, So,
Okay, that's gonna get us canceled for
well,
that shit.
he's
You're gonna
snap
be like,
judgment.
he's talking about the magic underwear. We can't have that.
I'm just,
That's like showing a picture of Allah.
right, yeah, exactly. Y'all, Wigwags, as it stands right now, is a company with not very many assets, so you can come after it, but, you know.
I, I apologize.
No, Dylan, I don't think we're gonna get canceled. My apologies to anyone who is offended by that. I don't think any offense is meant. But also, yeah, no, that's cool. So okay, so we see this guy that he started working and he achieved his dreams. At least got a movie made, which is more than
Yep,
Dylan and
but
I have
he
done. So
actually he
I'm listening.
leave the and he's the soldier that has a lot of conviction and moral upstanding compared to the other three
He does.
that
Yeah,
are
he
in
gets
his group,
shot
which would be
in the back.
Gallon, Bullock, and McBride. Those are the other ones.
Yeah,
And
but then
he's like, I'm going home.
yeah,
And
war's over. I'm going home.
Gallon, played by Cameron Mitchell. For those of you that don't know, Cameron Mitchell was well known for movies like How to Marry a Millionaire, The High Chaparral, which is a TV series, Carousel,
Hmm. Okay,
and
okay. Now,
Monkey on My Back.
yeah.
So he
So
was
he's
he was an established actor,
yeah, he was
right?
recognizable. When I saw him, I was like, "Damn, that guy!" But he's definitely of that era. Same thing with Vincent Price. Like, it's kind of like he's being cast out of his era because it's a little bit late. Because I think it's like again '87 when this movie is made. But and I think these actors are also from an earlier time of like TV and that era of movies. Uh,
Hey, keep talking for a sec. I have
all right.
to. Okay, my
So
mom's calling. I have to
cool.
take this phone call.
Absolutely. So the guy gets killed. He gets shot in the back by his sergeant, which is just wild because then it kind of sets up the way that the story is going to go. Almost immediately, though, after they set upon these other soldiers, they get captured by these kids, and these kids they're not playing no games. Because they take them and then they start playing games with them, like fucking around with their dead bodies, like playing like mental games with them, and all this kind of nonsense. And this is the thing that's this wild is like you find out that these kids are actually children of of the war, right? The war has affected them, and so they've become these children of the war. And so they keep talking about this magistrate. They're talking about this magistrate who's making them behave this way and whatnot. And the thing about it is that they keep being like, "Who is the magistrate? Who is the magistrate?" And there's he almost escapes at one point. He befriends this girl, but it really just feels like they're just extending the plot. To be honest, so he has this girl, right? Like, doesn't it feel like it's just like he's been captured, and then he's like, "Oh no, actually, I had a daughter named Amanda."
Yeah, he's just befriending her to basically escape.
Right.
That's he's trying to survive and keep himself alive.
But we know
Because
that he can't because this is a horror movie. You know what I mean? Like we know that he's gonna go see the
yeah,
magistrate, right? So, um,
yeah, and the funny thing is like the one guy they killed the one guy right away.
yeah, stab him in the
Then
dick.
the other one, yep. Then the other death by dick
Yeah,
stabbing.
dick stabbing, classic dick stabbing in a horror movie.
But then they kill the other guy by taking out his eye and things like that, trying
Yeah,
to give
which
it to the little
they try
girl.
to give to the
Cause
girl who doesn't have an eye. Yeah, like what I mean, so one of the things about this story is also like at the end of this movie is like we've seen a lot of horror at this point, and this at this point it's just it feels like horror porn. You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like
yeah,
torture porn. Because there's no real point to this story in particular. Because we're gonna see the magistrate, and eventually when we do see the magistrate, what is it beyond like a man-made Shoggoth where they put together the corpses of their parents and they're kind of worshiping it, and
yeah,
they're like they've got this like weird psychological connection to it, and they say that it's telling them what to do. Like, oh my freaking
yeah.
god, kiddos.
fucking crazy kids. It's
Yeah.
crazy kids.
And that's the whole. It ends with like the dude screaming or something as they kill him, right? Like, or the kids
They burn
just
him
never.
alive.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they burn him
They
alive. Yeah.
burn him alive.
Um, right. And so, like, goddamn, like the end. That's not the end of the movie. But that's the fourth story that's told in this movie, and it kind of leaves you like, oh shit. Oldfield, everything here has always been kind of fucking
Like
crazy.
that's yeah. Like since the Civil War days, it's been
Um,
crazy.
And again, I mean, not to hop on this, but this would be a cool intro to it, to the stories, because you'd be like, okay, buckle up, because even the kids have been crazy since the Civil War, right? Because then
Yep.
Vincent Price goes on to tell us the story. He's like, and those are the roots. Those are the kids who set up homes here. Those are the ones who had children, Uh,
Yep. It's actually really funny, and then we proceed down the timeline to 1933, and that's this is where the third story should have been the second story, is had it going in progression.
yeah, and so again, it definitely feels like it is. I didn't realize it was that so close in the timeline too, that it just pulls forward like that. And in the second, third story, it's the story of Amaryllis Caulfield, and we get this close up.
Yes.
Yeah,
Amaryllis. I love that name, Amaryllis. It was one of the most unique character names in this movie.
definitely stands out. Yeah, and it gives this close up of the banner that it's Lovecraft's traveling amusements. Um,
Amaryllis, played by Dee Dee Lanier.
is she somebody significant that I should know about? She is really pretty. She's a very pretty actress.
She only has two acting titles.
Okay.
She only had two acting titles. She was in the Catlins, which was a TV series. She was in one episode of that, and then she was in From a Whisper to a Scream. So she didn't have much of a presence in Hollywood, but she played her role of Amaryllis pretty well.
Yeah, I wonder if she knew somebody
But
in the
then,
production, and that's how she got that role or something. It seemed, or maybe she was trying to make a break, and then she was just like so many people after they see the inside of like how the machine works, and in all film industry, but all high industry, I think film industry in particular, and just being like, I don't know if I want to be a part of all that. Anyway, my takeaway. Your thoughts, Dylan?
it was. This is one of my favorite segments because
Okay.
it was so disturbing, just the outcome of the segment itself. It was one of those segments where it's like, oh, really? That's what we're doing? We're going this route with this movie? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You know,
sorry. Please
like
continue.
we meet Amaryllis as she's going to
Oh yes, that's how they
basically
play
what
it.
they would call a freak show.
Yeah. An oddity show, right?
And
Yeah, the traveling oddity show.
yeah.
And the person that she goes to see, we first meet a little person, which gives us some context. You need a ticket to get into this, and she does have a ticket.
And if you don't know who that little person is, it's the actor from Thunderdome.
That's the actor from Thunderdome. Oh my God!
That's the little person actor from
Do
Thunderdome.
you know his name?
Not Thunderdome. Is it, let me see. Because he's.
So anyway, as you're looking it up, she goes in to go see the freak that she's going to go see is a object eater, or like a glass eater, which is a really.
Angelo Rosito.
Thank you. Angelo Rosito is the man's name, the little guy's name.
Yeah, he was in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
And he is beyond Thunderdome. Nice call.
Dracula versus Frankenstein. Let me see. He's got 102 titles under
Holy
his
shit!
belt.
Good for my man. Um, right, just like
He played a guy named Tom Thumb in the Incredible Hulk series.
is Tom Thumb a hero? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'm not.
It's
I'm not Marvel.
uncredited.
Gotcha. Um, yeah, like find a niche and work it, if you can, right? Um,
He was in The Wizard of Oz.
oh, that would make
He was a
sense.
Munchkin villager.
In The Wizard of Oz?
Yes, The Wizard of Oz. I'm
Like
pretty sure
Judy
it's
Garland's Wizard of Oz? I mean, she didn't direct I mean,
1939.
holy
Wizard
shit!
of Oz.
Holy shit! Wow, he's the OG. Wow, that means
He's an OG
he's a fucking
actor.
kid at that point because I mean this movie comes out in '87. That means that he has been working as a Hollywood actor for like 40 years almost. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no wait, '87 is 50 years. Um, yeah, yeah. So I mean,
39 to 87.
yeah, 39 to 87
39 to
if it
87,
was
that'd be
because if it's
48
yeah, if
years.
it was yeah,
That'd be
exactly. If it
48
there you go,
years.
exactly. If it was 39, it would have been 50. So like, god damn that man. I mean, he has to be an adult at that time too. So how old is he? In From a Whisper to a Scream is probably as old as Vincent Price himself. Um, like they've got to be in their like 70s. So I think I was right in calling that a lot of these guys are like old school.
He
And
was born in 1908. He was born in 1908, so he was 21, or he was 31 when he was in The Wizard of Oz.
oh my God, he's 80 fucking something when he's in this movie. Um,
Yeah. He died in 1991, and he was... All right, so he was 79 in this movie
okay, so he was 75.
because...
You know, he was 79 in this movie, gotcha, because he died in his 80s. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, he lived 83 years. He was born February 18th, 1908, died September 21st, 1991.
Hey, comment below and if you poured one out for our friend Rosario, because goddamn, what a good job. Rosito, sorry. Angela Rosito, whose name I didn't know, you can tell. But good fucking job making it work and finding a place to be. Also, I need to just pause real quick to say this is a Cox and Space podcast. This is behind the scenes Cox and Space podcast. Even though I am painting my nails today instead of working on animation like we normally would, that's what this show is about, is working on Cox and Space and the animation. But you can check it out at coxandspace.com. Because we've got the new one coming out. It's going viral. You've probably seen it. That's probably why you're listening to this podcast. Thank you for being here with us. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to my Instagram, wigwags.us, and find out what's going on, or wigwags.com. I'm sorry, wigwags.us as a website. Also, I'm here with Dylan Fart, and he can give the shout-outs for all of his socials as well.
You can find me on all socials at Autistic Spitfire Comedy. And on Facebook, you can find me under my government name, Dylan Patrick Farr.
So check those out. Thank you again for listening to us on this behind the scenes podcast. As we talk about From a Whisper to a Scream, we have a couple of more stories to get through. We're going to finish up what we're considering the second story before we get to what we consider the meat of it. And we're going to do that in about 45 minutes, or continuing for about 45 minutes. So hang with us, comment below how you like the show and whatnot. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And we're back to it.
All right, so back to Amaryllis.
Yeah.
She falls in love with this guy.
A glass eater.
Yes, a glass eater by the name of Steve Arden.
Good old Steve Arden.
And, you know, he tries, like, you know, telling her, I'm not going to court you, this and that. And he's trying to protect her from, what's her name?
Well, we don't realize it. We think he's just being a bad dude and kind of just like leading her on and whatnot. But we find out that he can't leave. He can't leave the circus.
Yeah.
And because of the character whose name Dylan is looking for,
yep.
Is a voodoo
I think
priestess.
it just says Snake Woman.
Yeah, well, fair enough. And she has
That's just what they call her on here, and she's played by Rosalind Cash.
Why does that name sound so familiar?
She was in... Alright. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai,
Okay,
The Omega Man,
that's why.
Uptown Saturday Night, Clute, Tales from the Hood.
Wait. No,
Lois
hang
and
on.
Clark, The New Adventures of Superman.
No, I know the name Rosalind Cash because I've met her when I was in LA. I did improv classes with her. That's why I had looked her up and I know all these credits. That's hilarious. I've actually, Now that I remember I'd seen this movie before, but I couldn't remember why. And it's because I'd seen that segment um, with her. Anyway, okay, fun.
This is
Um,
actually pretty cool. I met someone that met Rosalind Cash.
yeah, you are
Wow.
now 7 degrees away from Kevin Bacon, so
Yep, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
you're almost there, buddy. But she had done, yeah, she had done some pretty notable things for a person who was just living in Hollywood, and not necessarily like a notable actress, but she had made money and she was still making residuals, which had respect for sure. Sorry, we were on the track. Oh yeah, so she's got a curse on them. She has like them held in a voodoo spell, and so the reason the dude can eat glass is because she's given him the power to eat glass.
Yep.
Um,
And she's like every emotion you have, everything, your sorrow, your joy, your fear, it all
Your blood,
belongs
your
to me.
tears. Your
Like
blood, your tears. She says it twice. It's fucking
the
creepy.
blood you bleed and
The
the
blood,
tears you
the
cry.
blood you bleed, the tears you cry. Like what the fuck? And
Like,
this is a great
can we
example,
talk
Dylan.
about one quick thing? Barry Burnham as No Face,
Yeah,
like
it's interesting.
Barney Burnham.
Is that so? Is that the person that is like a notable person in Hollywood? Because he has like no part whatsoever. He shows that he's no face. They cut to him. He has no face, and that's the whole gag.
Well, he has a face. It's just messed up.
Well, it's
And she did
quickly
that.
understandable why it's no face. Oh, well, he did. She did it. Yeah. She says later that his face crumbled so easily in my hands. One of the creepiest things I've heard from a character, in film in a long time. Because she's using like these voodoo dolls to control them. She makes him like this dude. Oh, okay. We won't get to it yet, right? Do you want to talk about the
Yeah.
conclusion of the story in a second?
Yeah, basically, she uses voodoo magic to give them the powers that they have,
Hmm.
or give them the appearance that they have. But she also can control them. Like he ends up going to meet with Amaryllis in a graveyard, and they start making out and like getting ready to do the dirty, and he ends up cutting her by like
How? There's screws coming out of his fingers.
exactly. It's like talk about a screw job.
Right, yeah, wow, that was a stretch. You almost got it. They were gonna screw in the cemetery. Um,
Yeah. But anyways,
screw you,
that's
Amaryllis.
when he realizes the amount of power she actually
Right,
has
right.
over him.
Yeah, and
And
then she starts
Amaryllis
screaming.
is really the reason he dies.
Yeah, because he wants
His
he wants to
his
spend time with her.
want for Amaryllis is really the reason that he ends up dead. Is his lust and need for affection and autonomy of his emotions.
Fair.
When
Uh,
at this point they are all in the hands of Rosalind Cash's Snake Woman.
that is, yeah, 100%. Now there is a twist that happens. It's kind of like a sleeper. Maybe I was zoning out for a second and missed it, but she ends up getting Amaryllis's hair
Well,
or
we
something, because just leading into the story that he's a part of. So he goes to see her, and then he ends up exploding. All the parts that he ate, the glass, the nuts, everything that he had consumed,
yep,
come ripping out
everything
of him.
just comes ripping out of him in just this horrifying scene, and we proceed like it ends up on this scene of Rosalind Cash walking in this hotel room, and there we see poor Amaryllis just cradling the corpse
Ripped
of
apart
Steve
corpse.
Arden.
Yeah.
Yep, the ripped apart corpse, just cradling the head in her lap, crying.
Well, and then we find out that the reason that she wasn't hurt by any of the shrapnel that came out of him is because Amaryllis had protected her by making a doll of her or something, and so she couldn't be hurt either. Like she was under the same protection curse. That
And turned her into the human pincushion.
Yeah, and so the twist is, yeah, she becomes a human pincushion. Now, again, I don't remember seeing that happen where the transformation happened, or where like she gave herself over to it, or if that was implied in that scene where she comes in,
I
and then
think it was kind of implied
that's
that all
okay.
that was happening at that point.
See, and again, do you see why I want each of these stories to be like a full like episode and
Yes,
20
I
minutes
see.
doesn't give it justice in my opinion because that's a cool story like the glass eater who's trying to escape but he falls in love like it's just it has to be over so quickly in the course of this movie that I would definitely watch the the whatever Ryan Polinick or whatever this American Horror Story guys Brad and Ryan uh, uh,
Well,
did
let's
so
because we have limited time.
we
Let's
do.
jump
My cat
to.
just decided that he wanted to throw the paint everywhere. So, give me 1 second. Yeah, let's go to that one, which is your favorite. Are we doing 2-1, or are we just doing it chronologically?
We're doing it chronologically, like how it would go in the
Yeah,
timeline,
yeah,
and that
yeah.
would go. We jump to the 1950s where we have Jesse Hardwick, who's
If
basically he's a
ever
con
was a
man, rips
man
everyone
who's
off.
consumed by greed.
Yes, yes. Ever was a man who was consumed by greed. It was Jesse Hardwick.
Yeah.
Basically, he rips off these guys, and they end up shooting him and leaving him in the swamp for the swamp to take. And he's stumbling around and ends up in a boat and floats off into the swamp. And next thing you know, uh, these hands come up. He's sitting in the boat. These hands come up and drag him into the water. And he shoots up in bed. And he's like, where the hell am I? He's in this cabin. He's in this old cabin with all these jars and stuff sitting around. And there's this old African American dude sitting there. And he's like, you're finally awake.
Yeah, and he's like, I feel like I haven't eaten in days. And he's like, yeah, you haven't. Um, and so this guy like saved him from the swamp. I think it's really cool. I don't like this character at all. Like at all. Like
Jesse Hardwick.
Jesse Hardwick, yeah. This is the second story that you see in the film, and going from the one, I liked the first character because I thought he was like creepy and weird and interesting for it. This character, I'm like, oh God, Jesse, like you're just such an ass, like everything. Like I'm like, you deserve everything that you're about to get. So I see how you're like for this one, you're like the third one is really creepier because like they just get caught up in the love story and that's their punishment.
Notable thing, Jesse Hardwick is played by the Terry Kaiser.
Okay.
If you don't know who Terry Kaiser is, he was Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, he is the Bernie at Weekend at Bernie's.
He's
And
the Bernie.
that's why he has a recognible face, but I did not recognize his voice at all. So I was like, I don't know who that guy is.
And he's still working to this day.
Really? Good for him. Okay, cool. Because again, that's a real long time. Like, this movie came out in '87. We were in 2025.
He'd been acting
This is the amount of time between when this movie came out and now. It's the same amount of time between The Wizard of Oz and when this movie came out. So like it's huge the space. Okay, sorry. Yes, sir. He was what?
He's been acting since. I'm trying to figure out when this. Maybe this one never came out. I don't know. But he's been acting since the mid-'60s.
Wow.
And
Again,
he's still going strong today.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said in my opinion. People will be like, if you're not an A-list celebrity, you ain't shit. And there's something to be said that you can't be traded on this guy's name. But to be a working actor and consistently do that and not have recognition and still be getting work, that's some serious dedication and ability. Not just the skill that you can consistently give on film, but the networking that is necessary with that too. If you're not a tradable name, you have to be putting yourself out there and meeting people and socializing on a regular basis, or have a really fantastic agent.
Oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. Felder Evans, who we find out the African American man is a man by the name of Felder Evans because Jesse Hardwick starts going through all his possessions.
Yeah, and this
trying
one,
to
like
learn
Jesse's
more
a dick.
about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's because he witnesses him doing some sort of ritual and then drinking some water out
Yeah.
of a vial.
Yeah.
And he thinks that's a secret to immortality after he discovers newspaper clippings and a book of all his, you know,
Yeah, and
should I say,
he
life's exploits.
right, and they go back a really long time. He's like, I think you're 283 years old or something like that. And this is the other part where Jesse's a dick. Instead of asking for that, he demands that the man show him, and then he only puts up with it for about 3 weeks before finally giving up altogether.
Yeah, it's strange. Like the man even agrees, I'm going to teach you about this,
Right, right.
and he gives up like right
No
away, like
problem.
because
Yeah, there's
nothing happens instantly. There's no patience in him
yeah,
for anything.
exactly. And then he takes it out on the dude, and then he attacks him, drags him out into the swamp, and says, "If you don't give me your secret for long-lasting life, eternal life, I'm gonna throw you into the swamp." Um, and so
With an anchor tied around
with an
him.
anger tied around him, of course. Yeah, and so he rocks the boat, and the guy accidentally falls over into the swamp, sinks into the mud, which leads to one of my favorite shots in horror ever. Now, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of anthology movies, but it doesn't mean that there's some fantastic things in every place that you look, and this one had it. The man comes out from the door after the crook thinks he's safe, and the shack door opens, and the man comes covered in mud, storming up through the door after the Jesse, the absolute piece of shit. Because he can't fucking die. That's the thing, is he cannot fucking die. And he
He
explained that
can't.
to him. He can't fucking die. So you put him on the bottom of the lake, all he has to do is walk out of there. And so just him covered in mud is to me the best visual storytelling I've seen in a film in a really long time. Because there's no exposition necessary. You see he's covered in mud. You see
Yeah,
he should have been dead. And you'd be like, oh shit, you cannot kill this motherfucker. And it's great because it sets up for the conclusion, right? Which is the most horrifying
yep.
part of it.
Which is where we find him. We find Jesse Hardwick tied down, and he's like, "I can't kill you." He's like,
And you're just going to be a pain in the ass to have you around.
the thing you tried exactly. You're just gonna be a pain in the ass to keep around. I don't think I could have a lick of peace with you around. So he's like, basically, he's like, I already gave you the magic water that you wanted.
There's the
He's
fucking twist.
like,
It's so wild. He's like, that's what saved you from the swamp, is I already gave it to you, and you're trying to kill me over something I already gave you.
yeah. And
Uh,
it's like, it's crazy. He's like, he starts begging for his life and this and that. And next thing you know, basically Felder's just like, fuck you, and
right.
starts chopping off limbs. And then he sprinkles
Ultimately.
kerosene over him
Yeah.
and sets him on
That's
fire.
the one fire.
And then leaves him in a bag on the road to be found by people.
Right, again, because he cannot die, he is just going to be in a situation where he's going to continue to be alive in that condition. Which I
And
think,
the doctors are like,
yeah,
the doctors that are examining him are like, I'm not writing down that he's had traumatic blood loss and the condition he is in, but he's getting stronger, he's getting better.
he's getting
Like,
better.
I'm
Yeah.
not writing that
I'm
down.
not
It's
writing
like,
that down. I'll lose my
like,
license.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, the female doctor's like, so what do we do? And he's like, the only thing we can do, pray he dies in the middle of the night. And that's when you hear Felder
The echo
Evans'
again.
voice of saying,
You
you
live
got
for
a good 70
70
years or more.
years.
Another 70 years, maybe more.
Maybe more. And
In the condition of having arms and legs cut off, your skin burned off.
yeah,
Just that's a horrifying visual. A horrifying visual.
it
And so we
really
get
is.
this up close shot of his face with this echo going of Felder Evans' voice, and just you see a single tear run down his cheek.
Run down the street. Yeah, again, see, I would love to see this as an extended story, because I would love to see Felder go through all the things that he does, and then finally meet up against this, like he, finds his peace in the cabin. And then the third act is him meeting this guy and him being like, man, these motherfuckers won't quit. Even when you're nice to a guy, he won't quit. They still try to steal from you. You know what I mean? We find out that he didn't have to do that. But
He had already given him what he was after.
yeah, exactly.
But Jesse wasn't happy with it.
And even then he wouldn't be happening. It'd be a very interesting story to see. So fun, yeah. That's a fun story. It is a great second story. Although, again, let's go to the first one. I think the first one's the best. I think that they should have made us wait for the payoff. Oh, then again, the way that films work, test audiences, they would be bored up to this point. But I think this is the wrong format for this anyway, and I've mentioned it before, so I won't go into it again.
So this would probably be set in about the 70s or 80s at this point.
Yeah, I would give you that.
It
that
just says set in contemporary times.
Modern era is what it is. It does have my favorite actor in it. I don't know who the actor is, but
Clu Gulager.
Is he famous for and known for other things as well, or is that just that his name is that from the credits?
Oh, he was Mr. Walsh in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Okay. He was Burr in The Return of the Living Dead. He was the bartender in Feast. Fuck yes!
I will say this. He plays a great character. I wouldn't be surprised to know that he did character acting throughout his career. Please.
2019.
Wow.
I want you to take a guess. I want you to take a guess of what 2019 movie I'm going to speak of. It was a big movie. It's one people talk about.
Wow, 2019. I'm going to Google really quick just so I have some reference because I'm not pulling up any movies in my brain, like big movies of 2019. So, but I'm going to take a guess off of that.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, let me click on this just to make sure
wow.
Written and directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Okay, then you're talking about the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, sir.
And which we have reviewed on this. If you guys want to watch our Tarantino review, you can go back and check that out. That's when it was called Flicking a Skip. So if you
he was the bookstore man.
Bookstore man.
He was Mo in Piranha 3 Double D. He was in the entire Feast series. Feast 2, Sloppy Seconds. Feast 3, The Happy Finish.
No innuendo there on any of those films. But yeah, fantastic for him to do that. I do love that his character in this, even though it's real creepy. The Coke bottle glasses, a la Trailer Park Boys. The slick back, bleached out hair, the creepy relationship with his sister, where he's giving her a bath.
Yeah,
and she actually has. They have this weird sexual relationship.
They have a weird codependency.
Yeah, well, not only that, but there is a sexual component to it. They never really talk. It's never really on screen. But the where he stabs her, spoilers, because we are kind of running out of time. But where he stabs her finally, she's made up because she's made herself up specially for him. And codependency is one thing because he feeds her and takes care of her and all that. But also, yeah, like he ends up killing a coworker as part of the story.
That would be Grace.
Yeah, and is she famous?
Grace, played by Megan McFarland. Let's see.
Like, I feel she's in a lot of movies at this time. And it might just be those round glasses that she's wearing that they were really popular. Or maybe she's well known for this shot.
Really interesting. She doesn't have as many titles as you'd think. From Whisper to a Scream, 1987. In the Heat of the Night, the series, 1993. Night on the Lamb, 2012. Skin Deep, the series. She was in 10 episodes in 2017. MacGyver from 2018. She was in 1 episode. She was in a movie called Irresistible. Another one called Crime Story. Blind Trust. a friend of the family, which was a TV miniseries, and then she was in Walden, Guacamole Yesterdays, and Pretty Hurts, another TV movie. So yeah, she was.
Interesting. So she really didn't have a big career. It sounds like she did a lot of just TV um, in that area at that time. Um, so maybe she just has a really
But
iconic kind of face that looks like an actress from the 80s. Because she does. I mean, her
yeah,
hair, the glasses. Like, I definitely thought I'm not familiar with any of those titles. So, um, but yeah. So, our guy who Vincent Price describes as bland, having bland eyes. He kills the body and then breaks into where it's being held for the
the
funeral. The
mortuary, and
mortuary has
he ends up.
relations with that corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah, which they heavily imply, but not to the point of like it's not
Well, this
a
is after
suggestion
he.
that cannot be ignored.
We forgot the lead up to all this.
What was that?
He ends up. He keeps like sending
Oh,
roses
right,
and
he's in love
stuff
with her
to
secretly,
her,
and she only
and
takes
he
dates with him
ends
because he
up
insists.
he and yeah, and then she rebukes his sexual advances, and he strangles her to death.
Yeah,
Grace's murder goes unsolved, but
w-
prior to her burial, Staniel breaks into the mortuary and has relations with her corpse.
yeah.
Then, 9 months later,
It really does make it
Stanley
specific.
murders
Yeah. Then he
Stanley
murders
murders
his
his
sister.
sister in
Yeah.
a fit of rage.
Well, it's weird. It
That
builds up,
same
and she
night,
she comes on to him, and then he's like had enough. But why he hasn't has had enough at that point, I don't know. I don't know why it is. Um, there is an odd moment of him laughing while he sings the song about Grace, which he's like he wants to sing this song for her. So this is the funny thing about her getting murdered, in my opinion, is that she says, "Oh, Stanley, don't embarrass yourself with singing me a song." And then he does sing the song, and it's really fucking bad. Like it would have been really fucking awful, so cringe, to be sung to in that way, um, right?
well, he was trying to be, charming, and in reality, it was just creepy.
Right, right. So you know the meme. Nice blouse you're wearing. Oh, thank you very much from the attractive guy. Oh, nice blouse you're wearing. Oh, hello HR from the non-attractive guy. Right. Uh,
Yeah, it literally.
right. So it would have been a fine song if he knew how to sing, but she knew he didn't. So yeah, she's like, "Don't embarrass yourself." She's trying to help him save face, and then he gets mad about it and strangles her. Um, so right, then something happens crazy. 9 months later, out of the soil pops a little hand
Yep.
and
Um,
crawls out and drags his sister's body out the bath somehow.
yep.
Throws her down a flight
Well,
of stairs.
first it breaks into the house.
Right, right.
It breaks into the house, bites him on the hand, and then runs upstairs, grabs her body, and flings it down the
Flings it down the
stairs.
stairs. Some huge fucking goblin. It's like this tiny little goblin, but it's doing like it has Chucky strength. It's like,
Yeah,
oh my god. Um,
and it was funny. He was going up the steps, and the thing grabs him and trips him, sends him tumbling down the stairs.
right. And he's standing at the top of the stairs, and what does it say?
Daddy,
Daddy.
daddy,
Fucking daddy.
daddy,
Lol, dude,
daddy.
I died. I fucking died.
I was
Um,
I, and
and
then it fucking like I think it's implied that it eats him.
yeah, and again, like when I was watching the
It's
movie,
like a
like
zombie baby.
I would have been fine with the Oldfield story that would have been just this movie, like where the corpse came from, how it happens that the graveyard does shit like that, like the whole background of the Grace story, the trying to solve the crime, the cat and mouse game between Stanley and the cops that's been going on for a year, why he finally snaps, like all those little things. I'm like, man, that's the story um, that I would love to hear. This that what I would love to see. And so like this one, I'm glad we ended here because this is a fun one. Like if you're gonna do right, um,
Yeah, it was a fun story.
Yeah,
It
if
was
you're gonna do fun
creepy
stuff,
as hell, but it
creepy
was
as
a
hell.
fun story.
Yeah, and
But then we do have to wrap up with
there you go.
the
I was just going to
whole.
ask you. Did you want to talk about the what they call the frame story, right? Which is the whole Vincent Price one.
Yep. Basically, we find out that the woman who goes to see Vincent Price's character has been in contact with his niece.
Dun dun dun.
Um, in the letters that they traded back and forth, claimed that Julian, who had, Julian White, Vincent Price's character, who raised her from childhood, poisoned her mind with his beliefs that Oldfield is a place full of evil.
But which is interesting because then
Blaming,
also she has been doing murders. Like that's the
yeah,
reason she was in the electric chair. That's the reason she got killed. Is
yeah.
they convicted her, and he doesn't deny it. He's like, "Yep, she was definitely fucking doing murders." And this is another thing is that I really wanted to see the stories of her doing murders as a kid and how they got her killed, and they never cover it in this movie whatsoever. Like, I mean, I would love to see that as the series finale of Oldfield, right? Like how this girl was trying to like stop the curse or whatever, and that's why she did all this murdering.
But
That's the pitch, by the way, guys. That's the continued pitch.
I don't know. I think it'd be a good series,
I
like
think
if
yeah,
it were done
yeah.
American Horror Story esque. But we have to state that Beth, who is the woman that has been talking to Vincent Price's character this whole time, stated her desire to avenge his niece
Yeah.
and
So and that
stabs Vincent Price
you
in the
did
throat with a
not see
switchblade.
that coming. Yeah, you did not expect to see Vincent Price get killed at the end of this movie. Um,
Before dying, though, he states very simply,
Welcome
"Welcome to
to
Oldfield."
Oldfield. And so that's why it does feel like it's set up for a TV show that never happened. Um, and I think that really, if that was the first episode of like they're talking about all these stories all together and you get into it, that would be a fun way to do it. Or if that was a whole season, thing that the niece finally gets her revenge on this uncle for all the poisoning he's done or whatever.
That would be pretty freaking cool.
I'd be about it.
It'd be, Vincent Price is probably looking down, being like, they have a point. That'd be a good television series.
Well, Vince, you're looking down on us from wherever eternity's at. Uh, just give us a boost. You have some friends who are still around, and get this podcast in front of the right people, and they'll know that we can write it because they'll see Cox in space and be like, "God damn, those guys actually do know how to write a thing or two." They'll hear some of Dylan's jokes, and they'll be like, "You know what? I think we can trust him."
They're gonna cast me as Stanley.
I mean, maybe so, maybe so.
That's horrible.
I'm just volunteering for the writing portion and getting paid for the writing portion, but
That's horrible.
maybe there'll be some rules for us
I'd
as well.
rather be Steve. At least that way I can.
If there was
At
ever a
least
man
that
who
way I
was consumed
can
with
die.
greed.
No, that's Jesse Hardwick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Steve. Which one was Steve?
Steve Arden was the glass eater.
Gotcha. Okay, actually, let me do that now because I said I was going to do that at the end. The kind of like armchair psychologist thing. I think that for me the creepiest one was this one that we did last. This is the first one, which for me is that fear that something like some child that I spawned in some act of passion will come back and bite me in the ass. That's like
that's basically the moral of that story.
right? And that's one of my greatest fears. And I think yours would be that you will be forever trapped in like a ruined body, and won't be able to escape it.
That was. Oh.
Right.
That just freaks me out.
Yeah, I get it. So like, and that's where I was like, I'm gonna address this only briefly. I dogged on anthology stories at the beginning, but I'll say that each of these stories in themselves is creepy enough to get you for the things that make you afraid. I would feel like probably people with the fear of kids or the future generation will probably fear the Civil War story and feel that's creepy because there's a whole Children of the Corn group of people who are afraid of little people. Um, Basically because they're afraid that they're, what it is, they're afraid of getting old themselves, and this young generation that's, whippersnappers are the ones who are going to destroy everything for us. Um, and then there's some people who are afraid that love will kill them, or love will destroy them, and I think that they will find
Yeah.
the third story to be particularly scary, because it'll transform them into something, put them under some curse that they can't escape from. So yeah, I think this movie does have a lot to offer a lot of people, because I think it does understand how horror works and why it works. From a whisper to a
There's a
scream.
reason I said it leaves me
Yeah,
unsettled. I've
yeah.
only watched it now like 6 times because a couple of the stories are just brutal to watch. Like, oh.
Yeah, if you're a person like Dylan with a lot of empathy for people that, I mean, like one of the movies, like I said, the Civil War story feels like torture porn. There's not a whole lot going on except for the making these soldiers suffer for the brutality that soldiers have brought into their life.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the whole message
An
of
eye
it.
for an eye,
Yeah.
basically, is what it was.
Um, and Stephen King wrote about it in the same way in It. That there's a place where there's like blood in the land, sort of, where evil is done, and so more evil gets done there. And I think that's true in some ways, and not really in a supernatural way, but more in a psychological way. Because when you do wrong to people, if they don't die as a result of it, they carry that with them. And hurt has a tendency to make people hurt other people, especially when they live in
Yeah.
communities together. And so when you hurt children, for instance, which is where this story ends, they're going to grow up to be hurtful people, and they will probably hurt more people, and that will spawn. And so, like, that's the truth of From a Whisper to a Scream, in my opinion, is that, like, generational, what the Bible calls generational sin, but I would call as like generational pain that's passed down from people who have
Generational trauma.
yeah, who do have unresolved trauma, right? They'll do that. We create old fields wherever we have unresolved trauma, and where we have generations of unresolved trauma. I'm gonna deviate real quick, but as an example, I live in Tennessee now, in Knoxville, and what I've noticed is that there are a lot of people who are quick to apologize and always feel like they're in the wrong. And at first, I thought it was just the people that I knew, because it was a certain type of people that I was around. And I started running into a lot of people in this area, and I realized that everybody's very apologetic for just existing. And then I realized that that's because they've been told that they've been doing things wrong for a very long time. And so it became a habit culturally just to apologize, to not cause a stir.
So
And
I'm from Knoxville?
yeah, was that?
I'm from Knoxville, apparently.
Yeah,
I apologize for existing all the damn time.
and there are a lot of people too, especially people with like a disability, who like they have been constantly treated like they are a burden, who apologize a lot. So you can see that. I've seen it a lot in traumatized people who have come out of abusive relationships, will apologize a lot just for existing. Um, and so, like, that's where, like, I noticed that. I was like, that's interesting, because normally I only see that in people who, with a disability, like an obvious disability, like blindness, some form of, like, crippled, limb of some
Yeah.
sort, deafness. They have a tendency to apologize a lot. I think in your case, too, your autism, unlike mine, is much easier mine's easy to hide, and yours is more that it kind of rules your life has ruled your lives at some point, right?
Yeah. Mine's very obvious. Like, if
Right.
you talk to me for 5 minutes, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, this guy's there's something going on in his head."
Yeah, probably some form of autism, right? Once you're aware of what those traits look like. But yeah, so those tens of people have a tendency to apologize a lot. But again, and so it's interesting that culturally that was the case. Like there's people here, there's a lot of bullies, and there's a lot of people who have cowed down to those bullies in this area. So I think that we do make old fields. In a lot of ways, wherever we have kids and we have unresolved trauma. When I was in the New Orleans area, you had a lot of people who seemed like they had grown up around drunks, or people who are like alcoholics. Sorry for the slander, alcoholics. I do think that it's a nasty habit. But Yeah,
with.
because they
Call
were.
us what we are. We're alcoholic.
Well, it was that they were used to people not following through on what they said and making promises that they didn't mean, even when they weren't drunk. And so culturally, that's the type of people that you ran into. So yeah. Anyway, back to the point, but that's it. Like I think that's what this movie From a Whisper to a Scream really does a good job of is showing how like unresolved trauma creates more trauma. And if we were to do it as a show, that would be kind of like the idea I'd want to explore too, um, because I mean, there's a lot to be said with that. I think everybody deals with that to some capacity. Like we've only recently, as a culture, figured out how to even deal with ourselves, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah, most people aren't in therapy right now.
I'm in therapy. I'm in DBT therapy. I'm in recovery. It's, all these
And
things,
I really think everybody should be. Everybody should be in therapy. Everybody should be in therapy from the very time that they're able to start speaking. Like they should be in therapy, because you need an outside voice in your life. In my opinion, you need an outside voice in your life that is not your parents, that is not your siblings. You need one that's not related to anything going on with you, who can be a reasonable voice for you. Um, so
I can
that
understand that.
yeah, that's the only. I mean, that for me, that's
I've
the only
been
thing that
going
therapy
through
is
a
good for.
situation, and I was talking to my therapist about it today, and he offered some good insight on it.
Right.
You know, and yeah, he's being paid to talk with me about my problems, but he's not being paid to blow smoke up my ass.
Right. Well, that's
Like
the
you
thing is
can't
that
go to. A lot of people get it twisted. They think they can go tell a therapist that they have these feelings or like that they've hurt someone and their therapist can't tell anyone. If you've hurt someone or have laid your hands on someone or anything like that, or you have any ideations of doing something bad, it's their job to report you. They
right.
will not cover for your ass on that.
They're not supposed
That's
to.
one thing. They're not
Right.
supposed to.
But also, and that's the
That's
other
their
thing
job.
too, is that not only that, but their goal is to hopefully get you so you're not to the place, so you don't get in that place.
Exactly.
Talking away from behaviors that make you want to hurt yourself or other people, because that's really just unresolved pain, right? Like that's just
Yeah.
that's just trauma that
And
you're trying to find an exit.
all you're doing is transferring your pain onto other people when you get angry and you get violent.
That's it. Or
That's
same thing with
just what it
addiction.
is.
The reason that you have addiction is because you're trying to deal with pain that is not being dealt with. Um,
Yep.
so
Trying to mask what you feel.
yeah, and right, yeah, exactly. And this hits to the theme of this film is if you're not dealing with stuff that gets passed on. Some people say that it gets passed down in the town, and I'd say yeah to a certain extent too. When you're in a city or when you're in a town, especially when you're interacting with a lot of the same people, they're gonna pick up the same vibe from you.
Yep.
When you're in a city and you just start driving like an asshole, you're going to affect the other people around you because you're driving like an asshole. So that you start to have an effect. The people that you run into the shops, you start to pass that bad attitude onto, or your trauma on them. The communities and choices that you make for your community starts to be affected because you hate yourself in your community or whatever.
Sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
That's all
My
right.
bad.
Um,
But,
y- I was about to
can we wrap up?
wrap up, yeah. And so because I think we've covered everything for this, we are going to do review Death to Smoochie in the next episode. It'll be our second review of it, but we're going to be doing that not this Friday, but the following Friday. So if you guys want to tune
Yes.
to Discord, you can do that. I'm your host and friend Skip Mrazzi. This has been a behind the scenes podcast, Sick Flicks with Dylan and Skip. But it's a behind the scenes podcast for Cox and Space, which is animation that we
I
generally
am
work on.
Dylan. I am Dylan Farr. I'm your autistic spitfire of comedy. You can find me on all socials at Autistic Spitfire Comedy. And unless you're on Facebook, then you can find me under my government name, Dylan Patrick Farr. Please give me a follow.
Yeah, so check him out. He is very funny, and he is working comedy in the Michigan area. If you want to find out more about Cox in Space, you can. It's coxinspace.com. Check that out. Check out the new trailer that we watched here and the continuing ongoing project that's going on. Support us on our Discord through there. To follow us on Facebook. Follow us on our Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Like, comment, and share to help those videos get promoted viral. Help us get paid. So we appreciate you guys who have done that for us and are continuing to do that for us. We're going to wrap this one up. From a Whisper to a Scream from 1987, 6.3 on the IMDb. Dylan's suggestion is a film that sticks with you. My thought is
Yes.
that it's a fun period piece, and it has a bunch of fun little stories in it that will really stick with you too. We are pitching that we would love to do Oldfield as a show, so if you want to get in touch with us, please reach out. But thank you so much for your attention, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.